you awake now? I summoned you just in time. Do you remember what happened? What you've done?
I ripped out my...
I'm frankly amazed you would go to such lengths, even to fight back against the spell. If I hadn't saved you, you really would be dead. But rest assured, we're finally safe. As for where we are far, far away from that hellish world. Do you remember the first time we met? I was sure you would find a clue in your journey that might reveal where in the world this place is. So I believed anyway, but I was wrong. From the start. This place is... It was never of that world to begin with. No. Maybe there's a better way to put it. This is a place that exists between reality and fantasy. In other words, the world we've been living in is fantasy. The journey was all an illusion.
An illusion?
There's nothing but despair in that world. And it will never get better. It's an endless, painful, irredeemable hell. I'd always believed that creating a utopia was possible. And if there was desire, then I thought maybe one day someone would achieve it. But I came to realize I was mistaken. In the end, a fantasy is just that. A fantasy. But all that primordial chaos only exists in that world. The world of reality is nothing like that. Really, it's an environment you should know quite well. You've come to know so much of it already. Through text on a page. Now, behold!
Isn't this?
Indeed. It's the world I wrote accounts of in my novel. Until now, you've thought this world a mere fantasy. But it's not.
So the world I know is all an illusion. And the world of the novel is... reality?
Surely you already know. There is no deadly magic, no prejudice between its people. Now, all you have to do is admit that everything you've been through has been nothing but a story, just a fantasy. Then this can be your perfect reality. Your journey of revolution was just a passing dream. Let me take you back to reality, child.
What will happen to my friends?
You don't have to worry. As long as you can accept that this place is real, everyone will be safe. That world is past any point of redemption. Change is impossible. The royal magic was supposed to be the turning point, but it was all for nothing. In the end, people don't want their world to change. They just want someone to be a sponge for their infinite anxieties. That's all. You can't blame Luis for wanting to end that cycle. How could anyone accept that they lived in a world that miserable?
Even so, I don't want to give up on it.
Come on, snap out of it!
What?
My, such disbelief on your face. But once you stop to consider it, the ideas fall apart. Come now. Magic? Some otherworldly force capable of anything with anxiety as its fuel? A fanciful idea to sustain a fantasy world. Illusion. All of it. Those curiosities in academia, they were there because of the place's connection to true reality. And not even they could endure. You still don't believe me. Why is that?
This place, I know it's not real.
But why? What unfinished business remains in an unwinnable battle? If I hadn't saved you, you would have died there. You don't have to chase your fears and anxieties based on some misguided concept of justice. It was all illusory, and there is no shame in accepting that. Reality is a monolith. Reality is unchangeable. So stay here in Utopia, in the place you loved reading about so much.
This place, it isn't a utopia.
You mean you deny it? Will you deny that the world of the novel is utopia?
I can at least cast my usual spell for you. It's the small comforts, right? Music was the first magic this world ever knew, after all. Makes the road a little easier, right?
The journey, my friends, they were as real as anything I've known.
Why won't you understand? Please, I don't want you to die. I can't lose anything else. Truly, I see. I understand now. I remember. I had indeed lost everything. Despite my lofty ideals, I lost everything. Academia, the woman I loved, even my only child. Reality isn't just cruel. It's cruel beyond any hope of change. That's why I had wished for someone to strike me down and end my misery.
Who are you?
Me. If I were to call myself by a name you know, my name is Ethloidius V. I once reigned as king. Or I'm half of one, to be accurate. I was born of the very magic that split the prince in twain and gave rise to you and this place. No, it is not real. We are inside the book you hold. It served as your key to visiting me. This was the form of my youth, when first I entered the ancient sanctum. Perhaps it would be best to call me a discarded shadow of idealism. I once took such joy and passion from my ideals. I truly believed that I might end the strife and discrimination that plagued our people across nigh endless years. But the tremendous incomprehension and injustice that defines our world, it was more than I could bear. It broke me. And Luis is likely going through the same thing. I want to save you from that despair. I understand now that I would do this as your father. I could not bear to lose my child a second time. If you stay here, at least you'll be saved. Do you truly still want to leave this place and risk your life to face a reality you can't change?
If I stay here, then I've already lost.
You are on the cusp of dying at Luis's hands. Is that not proof enough that we lack the power to change reality? I can't let you throw your life away against that man. I must stop you. Even if you come to hate me for it. Fantasy is a curse, sweet in seeming. And if I must save you from it, I will teach you what reality is. I suppose how I promised to travel the world someday is destined to be only another unfulfilled dream. Archetypes embody the power of heroes who sought to change the world. And even having mastered such power against Luis, you could accomplish nothing. I wrote all my ideals into my novel, but my love's death showed me how empty it all was. You cannot sacrifice your one life for an empty dream.
I have to try at least.
Why can't you see that those ideals will only invite ruin? If no one else, you must live. That world is beyond your help. Beyond any utopia. You must face reality, my son.
I won't hold back! Come forth, royal soul! By this power, this is it!
So you would vainly struggle onward in the real world. The novel I wrote for you seems to have kindled only ideals of naivete in you. Then even my folly has come to haunt you. My mistakes poison your life. As your father, you leave me no choice. I will put an end to this madness.
Let's say I won't hold back! The magic seeds!
It was in this story, in this book, where you found your ideals. Haven't you always dreamt of utopia? Why did you resist it now? Why refuse me? Why?
Prince! This is it!
Why don't you understand?
Still here?
Why? You were my first reader. You of all people have to understand!
It's a prince! The magic seeds!
What? So this is what it means to truly strive toward an ideal. What irony. After I spoke of fulfilling my dream alongside you. What power to see the archetypes brought to such heights in so little time. If you go back now, your ambitions will avail you nothing. You'll only die a dog's death. What is it that drives you so?
I'm not sure myself.
Are you this determined to cling to your beliefs? Is that truly what separates us and keeps me confined here? Such power. Can it be? No matter how dire your fate, you never gave up. You surmounted every barrier, gathered and united soul after soul, and now, at last, across 3 nations, 8 tribes, and humankind, to unite heroes across such abyssal divides would require surpassing power, the king of all archetypes. Is that the role you would seize? A true king in body and soul?
Do you hear me? Your Highness!
Oi! Wake up, Your Highness! How seem your future's not yours alone to decide.
My friends are waiting for me.
The support and ardor of your allies. Yes. The very power that reveals paths beyond your own perspective. I see. That is whence you draw your power. Neglect anxiety, and magic will lead to ruin. Even before the War of Destruction, the downfall was foretold. Yet still, they met their prophesied end. Perhaps archetypes are the will of humankind of old, left to us. A plea that we learn from their failures, that we might rebuild the future ripped from them.
I have to try. I want to know how far I can go.
Fascinating. Even as you face down the gravest oppression of reality, still you persist. Still you seek the world's unknowns as precious possibility. I see. Well, if you can believe there is more to the story than the end I see, then it is yours to tell. Once you return to reality, this place will surely fade as the dream it is. I, myself, will not be spared. Unlike you, my other half is long gone. And any reunion, lost. But if I truly am the idealized soul and hope of your father, then before I fade, I entrust you with the power of my life. Not as the author Moore, but as your father, the king. Now then.
What now? Good. I'm still getting stronger.
Listen here. That means however, yes. Well, now that you say it. Ah, how good of you to come. All right. However, the kingdom rests in your hands now. Oh. If there is yet any value to believing in something beyond us, prove to me that fantasy has the power to color reality. Now, onward, O King of a new dawn!
Everyone! He's awake!
Is he all right?
Thank the stars.
Considering it was we who engaged Amata's gambit, this must be rather humorous to him.
We pulled through, thanks to Neurus. Can't believe he caught us mid-plummet on that busted Skyrunner.
Well, don't leave out Heismay. Wouldn't have expected his wings to be so handy.
Never again.
We're in good shape. Our wounds have already healed. It was all so fast. I'm still a little shocked.
True. It's bound to be everyone hoping the best for us below. Like what Luis did. Only the magic working in reverse. What?
Why? Why do you still stand in defiance? What drives such tenacity?
Luis! The world is full of injustice. Not everything you've said is wrong, much as it hurts to admit.
Yet, you would give up because you see no other way. And no future can come from that. We may struggle with fear and anxiety, but we shape our own destiny with our own hands. I have no doubts.
Yes, you're a man who has endured tragedy. It's foolish, I know, all this talk of belief. I know well. That said, if you cast aside all belief, all that remains is to endure a slow death.
As for me, I believe things can change. I have to. Singing and believing aren't so far apart, right? Even then, my songs touched you too. I know they did.
After I'd idealized my death more than I ever did my life, thanks to a chance encounter, everything changed for me. Now I can hope for the best, without fearing for the worst. The possibilities are endless. If you ask me, that's what magic is.
Luis, you got all these people who believe in you, because you gave them a shred of hope. And now, you want to crush that hope. Maybe you're the one who's scared. Deep down, you're afraid to admit to yourself you're the one who's hopeless now.
Luis, the fairies came to live in the Sanctum. But do you know why we chose it? The Elder Tribe. We admired the people of humanity. To make our dreams into realities, we have to trust each other. When people do that, that's what makes them so amazing. If you deny the power of trust, if you make the world a place where it can't exist, then you're just plain wrong!
Fools. These false foundations. Who in their right mind could promise such fantasies? I will never let injustice be repeated. Never again!
His aura is entirely different. It's a magla burst. Luis is becoming a human.
Come on then! No choice now. We prove ourselves with all that we are!
Let's go then! This is our final battle!
Again, the world must be shattered, and again it must be rebuilt anew. You will die in tribute to my ideals, Prince.
Take this! I'll protect all of us! We will win this!
I'll use what I
For
must.
our world!
Some darker arts.
It's okay. We can do... We'll do this together!
Coordination is key!
How's this?
Our new world and its ideals have no need for you.
What a mess. You first.
Is everyone all right? Nice! Is that all?
There is no power.
A wise choice.
Warrior! And it's time to strike!
Quite a move.
I saw power of heroes! Pierce through them!
I show no mercy.
I will... Everyone, fall back!
Helpful as ever.
Give in to anxiety.
Vexen.
Too slow. You defy me.
Time to go offense. I shall vanquish evil. Ah!
There is no power
Nice!
in your...
I stand waiting.
I leave it to you.
I'm all prepared.
All right, let's go!
No holding back! A tough one.
of the world can only be cleansed if the strong subsume the weak. Now, be a noble sacrifice. Sacrifice yourself to the new age.
What? Is he trying to swallow those people? Wait, they're puppets? I'm sensing deadly magma in the puppets. Attack him before he swallows more!
Are you prepared? Perhaps not. Could do with this.
Our new world and its ideals.
With blade in hand!
You think a wise choice?
There's no power.
Maybe let's set it up.
Coordination is key!
How's this?
Yes! The puppet's magma's mating!
My world! My perfect world! Not yet. I refuse. I won't let it end like this. You will be a sacrifice. You will sustain the strong. Oh, weak one. Oh, peon.
His magla has gone out of control. At this rate, even a man of Luis's mental strength would lose his grip on sanity.
In the end, even he couldn't escape his own anxiety.
Then by his own logic, we've got to put him down. The weak deserve to die. The bastard's own words, yeah?
If he saw a threat in our power, then let us wield it.
You can't just believe in nothing! Nobody can rely on themselves alone. It's a pitiful way to live, and it's time we put an end to it!
Luis Guiaban! Here and now, I will strike you down!
Okay, it's time to do this! Give us our final call to arms!
Come on, everyone. Let's go!
This is our last chance. We've come this far. We have to end this here and now.
A wise choice.
I will fight with pride. I'm all prepared.
Coordination is key!
How's this?
Feel true terror. Give in to anxiety.
I separated.
This is nothing.
Aura's overpowering. It's making it harder to fight. Just
Could do with
hold
this.
on.
Thanks.
I'm obliged.
My friends.
Observe the enemy. For all that we strive for!
I'll use what I must. Rancor!
Let's come forth, Royal Soul. We're not out of this yet.
I owe you.
Thank you.
Much thanks.
Hack and slash!
Right on target. Nice one, Stroll.
Is that all?
You think yourself equal? Some darker arts.
I will fight with you. We'll do this together.
We'll team up!
Let's do this!
This should work.
I knew you'd help. Let's meet it.
My thanks.
I stand with blade in hand!
The world.
I leave it to you.
I'm all prepared.
Coordination is key!
No holding back!
A world born of fantasy. It must not be. Feel true terror. Feel true terror.
Aura's overpowering. It's making it harder to fight. Just hold
Let's
on.
try this.
That helped.
I'm obliged.
Much thanks.
Hulkenberg's guard is down.
I stand waiting.
Let us click. Now accept your fate. Mustn't set a favor, if I may.
Let's set it up!
Has it come to this?
Fall!
Let's do this!
Don't get sloppy, Captain.
The Clemar, a foolish people tainted with guilt, be gone from this world.
What's happening?
Tactic.
Fight a losing battle.
Hulkenberg, you've got several ailments slowing you down.
Go for it.
Is everyone all right? To you.
Why
A wise choice.
Let's work together!
has it come to this?
Let me help!
No holding back!
My world! But why? Why is it still beyond me?
Dawn breaks.
Look! He's done it! He's finally beaten Luis!
Does this mean he's won? I'm not dreaming this.
He did it.
Not yet. I have my ideals. Witness!
Everyone's fighting their fear and anxiety. Nobody knows for sure what's right. And even through all that, the people have declared you king!
We fight for more than justice. Show him our will against his. Show him the fall of his world.
Hold fast!
wielded the power of kings. It's time to stop following in their footsteps. Now it's your turn to take your place with them.
Your fantasy is naught but lies!
What? What's going on?
Fantasy is more than an empty dream. It's a dream with the power to change the world!
Damn you!
That must be the Lord that governs Utopia in all worthy champions. The hero's archetype. The king. I see. At long last, fantasy has become a force that frees people from anxiety. A harbinger of change for a deadlocked reality.
The people have chosen my son. With that, my tremendous gamble hath borne fruit. Thus it is that my duty here draws to a close.
And now, a novel you wrote with such passion will finally begin a new chapter.
This voice... is that... could it be? But how?
While flames swept through the sanctum, I cast a final spell to abandon my body and survive in soul. I became an immaterial being among the fairies. I had to, so I might provide guidance to the child on his most perilous path.
The power of the archetypes. Was that your doing?
No. All I did was awaken them to it. My voice carried the words they needed to hear. That power is no great and rare treasure. It is something that might be grasped by anyone with the will to change the world. And anyone has the power to change the world. Those children proved as much. Now, that boy has grasped the courage of a warrior. All dragons who still roamed the continent have fallen by his hand. For what greater embodiment of the impossible is there than a dragon? And he now possesses the power and will to quell those forces.
I see. Then he is not so weak a child that I must hold his hand. I am truly sorry. I lost all the power I once knew. I saw the sanctum burn. And you. I lost you. Once they took our child from me, all my remaining hope went with him. And so I placed my faith in the royal magic.
I believe that if this world would choose him, there would still be hope.
This shall do. That boy's fight, and ours, is finally over. The people no longer need some mystic relic or some lofty magics to soothe their fears. They have found the strength to overcome it within. Provided they can turn their anxiety into strength and never stop walking toward the unknown, reality will ever change. Their world shall be one full of possibility.
This isn't about the throne anymore. It marks the beginning of a new era, led by those who are truly worthy of the people's trust. Almost the appointed time now. The day is dawning on a new king's reign, and with it, my true passing. However, if I may truly end my life with pride in my boy, and my love at my side, I've no regrets.
It's been a long road to this moment, hasn't it?
It has indeed. But for our son, a new journey now begins.
Heed me, all people of the kingdom. Dawn breaks, and the appointed hour hath come.
He speaks. With the announcement of our new king, everything finally ends.
I now settle the long-contested succession to the throne. They who hath gathered the most faith from their subjects amassed. They who hath overcome this fierce contest. The throne's new sovereign I now reveal. Behold, your new king of your kingdom united.
Look! It's him! Yeah!
Yay! Look! Look, that's him, isn't it? He won!
He certainly did, love. He really did. Oh, I still can't believe it. That boy pulled it off. His Majesty, the new king.
I won't accept it! The new king is Camp Louis.
He can't just crown his son after all. That's cheating, that is. Rise up, people! Riot!
Disorderly conduct will not be permitted.
Settle down. The tournament is over. Our new king has been decided, and the royal capital falls under His Majesty's rule. Threaten it, and you shall face the wrath of the Crown Theocracy's warrior monks.
Bloody fantastic. They really did it.
Quietude descended once again upon the royal capital, and the day of the new king's coronation arrived.
Boy, coronation really crept up on us. There's a lot of people in the crowd.
Don't tell me you're nervous. After everything we survived already, stage fright should be nothing for you.
All the same, my heart's pounding out of my chest.
Is it? Nothing you're not used to then. It's just like with the archetypes. Just keep your head high.
It'll be fine. We'll keep the crowd warmed up for you.
Your newfound dignity suits you well, Your Highness. Ah, but I suppose you have outgrown that title. Your Majesty. Yes, that too suits you well.
By the way, saw some of them Senate fat cats hovering about, acting like they've been supporting us from the start, of course. Always on the winning side, eh?
Better than the alternative, no? Especially since we've got some Luis diehards among the people.
I hear that many are concerned about his proficiency with statecraft. To be honest, I'm not so sure myself.
Juna will stand as moderator at the podium. His Majesty will only be asked for a few brief answers. First, the people would know how you aim to lead them. How will you respond to that, Your Majesty?
We have the power to change the world. All of us. I know I'm inexperienced, but I'll strive to do my utmost. With all of you at my side.
That's fine. The people have about had it with pompous monologues. Better to say what you mean with determination.
Still, there are a lot of people in the crowd who have never supported you. How are you going to respond to them?
I'll have to let my work prove my words. With results, I hope everyone can feel that our future will be brighter.
You went from a nobody to the top seat in the nation. No need to puff up and bluster anymore, what? You'll do fine.
A ruler must only stand tall. The rest is not done alone. We are with you.
Indeed. And we're no strangers to more practical work. Whatever our tasks, I'm sure we can handle them.
Well, it's time to make your first appearance as our king. Let us brace ourselves.
Good luck!
Thanks for always having my back.
Well, let's go. To His Majesty, the new king.
All right, a warm welcome, please! His Majesty the new king! Your Majesty, you're so young!
Please. My king, your subjects would hear how you intend to lead them.
Relax, okay? Take it easy and use your own words.
As a ruler, I've much to learn. I cannot say what I'll accomplish. And yet, I believe the world can change by our hand. And to that end, I will face any odds.
Now, Your Majesty, a few more words. Naturally, some under your rule now supported other people in the race. How do you respond to their voices?
There will be times I let you down. I know that. Only results can prove my intent. But still, even should you oppose your king, you can always believe in your own future. I will make sure of it!
A nation where dreams and fantasies are always in reach. Will surely be a challenge.
We'll make it happen.
There you go. If you can pull that off, you'll be the finest king we've known. Well then, this is it! Your attention, please!
No lord remains for you to kneel before. Please take the crown with your own hands, my king.
Long have I awaited the arrival of this day. This journey has reached its end. He came to know the goodness of a hero's heart, and became the king his people had always hoped for. But as this journey ends, so another begins. I'd like you to watch over him on his path for a little longer yet. 1 year has passed since the arrival of the new king.
Hey, heard the news? They're finally reopening that mage academy that got closed down.
You don't say. The famous one deep in the Montario Mountains. Really? I'm impressed. It only took them a year.
They've even paved a proper mountain road. And get this, their headmistress is none other than Lady Juna.
What? The songstress?
Well, she is one of the king's 6 partisans. If she managed to help save the world from Luis, I expect she knows a thing or two about magic. Sounds like they plan to fully open the magic researchers' findings to the people, too. Quite a turn from when the late Sanctifex banned it.
Makes sense to me. After the clash between His Majesty and Luis last year, everyone knows you don't really need an igniter to use magic.
And that's just today's news. It's surprise after surprise, ever since us churchfolk got the boot from the palace. Even the Royal Knights. Their leadership was bound to the church more than anything, and now he's out on his ear too. And replaced by Sir Jaime Noctul, no less. You believe that? The Royal Knights, led by a Uchief of all things. Though he's one of the 6 partisans himself. When he speaks, everyone listens. No one's about to complain.
Even Parliament now invites citizen representatives to hearings. Strange to think we'd been deaf to the voice of the people until now. It's unbelievable, compared to the days of the autocrats. How swiftly the times change, eh?
Credit where it's due. I think it's thanks to His young Majesty. Remember last year's coronation? Unprecedented, that. Saw heroes of all different tribes celebrating the king's victory. Celebrating among the common folk, even. They tell me some of the younger aristocrats have taken to calling it the Great Reconciliation. It really is a tragedy, what happened to his father, the king. But considering how his sons turned out, I hope he's at peace.
Indeed. Yet the real test is still to come. The first year has seen a lot of good, but we've still got our share of problems.
Speaking of His Majesty, I've also heard some folks saying they've seen a boy wandering around these parts who looks just like him. You don't suppose?
Ah, can't be. Without his escorts? Besides, what business would a king have in this place?
Suppose you're right.
Mountains upon mountains of appeals from the people. How many days will this take to sort?
After all the trouble you took to flee politics, And somehow you're now the preeminent ladyship of your house. Such is fate.
Despite everything, this year has passed in surprising peace, hasn't it? Honestly, with the royal scepter disappearing like that, I feared more dissent.
Perhaps after Luis, they swore they could never let that happen again. Either way, more and more are dealing with conflicts calmly and openly. Promising.
It promises that I'll have an eternally cluttered desk.
Here, Your Majesty. I've brought in the next load. And there we go. Not half bad, right? Hey! Isn't the king supposed to be here?
When did he? I've said countless times not to leave unannounced.
Oh, all this decoration doesn't suit me. How would Luis and Forden put up with all this damn finery? Your Majesty? Are you here? Juna's back from her inspection.
Apologies, Troll. I'll look for him now.
Wait! I'm coming with you! Oh, good grief. Some things never change. Not that they should.
I'd say life has changed plenty for us. Yet somehow our captain's same as he ever was.
And then, well, I might have got a bit too fresh with them stuck-up sanctists. But those bloody church folk been looking down on us for years, you know? Still, it was other sanctists what stepped in to keep things peaceable too. I reckon they're not all bad. Guess me cogs turning. They lost both their Santifex and the Saint Lady last year. Got their own struggles, I expect. Not like it excuses all of them or makes me want to go up and shake a sanctor's hand, but you really put some perspective on it.
I believe you'll come to understand them.
You know what, lad? You're all right. You ever need some good, honest work? I'll get you squared, eh?
I should have known you'd be wandering around without your escorts again. How is it, being able to hear the city's honest thoughts? If you told them you're the king, it'd knock them sideways. Sorry you ended up coming all this way. Maria's actually out on an errand right now.
I see. That's too bad.
Are you that disappointed? She's a lucky one for such company. Either way, best keep your head down. You know what happens when you're too obvious about this. Sooner or later, the Lady Captain of the Royal Guard...
Oh, there you are! I knew we'd find you here, for crying out loud!
Phew. So you were here.
Speak of the devil.
Let us return, Your Majesty. And I thought I had informed you that Juno would be back from her expedition today.
I have a few stops left in the city, though.
You do know I practically sprinted out the gates to find you. 'Tis settled. I shall come with you on every excursion.
Not dressed like that, you won't. You know how we like snooping around, inconspicuously.
Point taken.
He'll be fine. His Majesty is not about to fall prey to some alleyway scoundrel, surely. Right, Your Majesty. If you see Maria about, do slow down for a chat. She'll be shattered if she finds out she just missed you.
Fine. Now, Your Majesty, once your business here is finished, please make sure you return to the palace with all swiftness.